Welcome to Home Dad Chat, brought to you by the National At Home Dad Network. My name is Brock,
My name is Danny.
and we are here to talk about life as stay at home dads. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
No, I don't want much. I even love handmade crafts made of macaroni. Come on now, you should know me. Times I might eat too much. No worry about my weight. Got the dad bod rocking on me. Sketches on my feet. Cargo shorts look good on me. I'm a dad, that's what I do.
Hey, everybody, welcome back to the show. Hope you've had a great week. We're excited to talk with you about all the exciting things happening. Hopefully, fall, Halloween went well for you, that kind of thing. You got all your fall shit in and was able to do all
That's
that
right.
fun stuff. And
You're quoting Phil Z, man.
I know, right? And
Get your
then
fall shit in.
ramping up to Thanksgiving and all the turkey talk and eating and whatnot, because it'll be here before you know it. It's crazy. So all the awkward interactions with relatives that take place. Yay!
It's fantastic.
That's what I'm looking forward to. Actually, no, I say that in jest, but at the same time too, my family did decide that we are going to be going out to visit Corey's family for Thanksgiving for the first time, and I can't even remember.
Rock and roll.
So, but that's a good thing too, because that is one of those situations where things were rocky and there's been a good amount of reconciliation work that's been put in.
Awesome.
And, it is work. It's hard work. And I think that it's something that should be publicly noted in the fashion of there's been lots of conversations, lots of hard conversations, lots of tears and hugging it out and whatnot. But in the end, the realization of, hey, we're family and we want to work this out, I think is important. And I think that's the thing too. And during like when you're coming into the holiday seasons and stuff, it's, these people who you grew up with, if you can make it work to be able to be around them and
Hmm.
have some of a better just interactions than maybe what was previously done, it's worth the effort to put in for it. But at the same time too, if you're ever in a situation where you've got to cut things out, because that's what's healthy for your family, then there's absolutely nothing wrong with that either. And even if
Right.
it's for a time or whatever, that's my encouragement to people is give it a shot, because the least you can say you tried. And
Hmm.
then if you got to move on, you got to move on.
Right. Right. And we'll talk more about traditions later. We always do about this time of year.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
the overarching idea is you make the traditions for your family unit. Like your partner, your kids, that needs to be your traditions. And and I've used this every year, if it's not taking a Christmas card photo because your kids just can't sit still and it's so irritating, deep breath. There are things like that you need to just stop.
Yeah.
It's not something that's beneficial for your family. And sometimes that means we don't go to Christmas dinner or we don't go to Thanksgiving, or we have it at home or we choose a different group. So, yeah, I think that's a very good point. Especially, I think next week, probably we're going to get more into Thanksgiving. But just to recall that, yeah, you and your specific partner and kids is most important.
Yep.
What you want, what you need, what your family really needs to prosper. Sometimes that means, Uncle Bob doesn't come to Thanksgiving dinner or whatever, whatever happens. But yeah, that's a good point, I think, to remember.
Yeah, definitely. Well, there's been some happenings going
Hmm.
on in the organization, some announcements have brought out. And that's kind of the thing I wanted to talk about today. And I
Yeah.
think kind of sort of turning the stage into a little bit of a hot seat conversation. I want to put Danny in the hot seat and ask him a bunch of questions. So we're gonna talk about just what's going on with the board and this call it a special election, I guess is the thing to
Yeah.
call it, whatever it is,
Yep.
and a meeting and that kind of thing. But I think there's some people who understand parts of it. I know I understand parts of it, and I have questions about other things of it, but and I don't think I'm alone in that.
Well,
So
yeah. And let's just state first that this is going to be kind of an exclusive conversation because this is only for our paid membership, right? If you are a voting member, which means you have to have paid your annual or lifetime member, what have you, and you have to identify as a dad, basically. And then you're allowed to be a part of the voting process. People that are just members, say, of our Facebook page or a Discord page, this doesn't really go towards them. So we're talking about a fairly small number, about 160, I think, 170 maybe by now,
Yeah.
annual members, lifetime members. So what happened, we can talk about that, but what is going to happen is we're going to have to redo the election from our annual meeting in San Antonio at the convention.
Yeah.
And that's the basic of it. So that everybody understands, we're going to have another meeting. It's going to be virtual because we don't expect everybody to, fly back down to San Antonio, obviously. So, but we're going to have a virtual meeting, a Zoom call, basically, and just open it up for voting again. And you'll have a full, I can't remember exact hours. I know it's over 24 hours to vote. So plenty of time, and we can talk about all the specifics of it, but I did want to just clarify what we were talking about, and that is really, maybe it's not for everybody at this point, because if you're not a paid voting member, it doesn't matter. That's what we're going to do. It doesn't have anything to do with you, and you can't affect it. And even becoming a member now, you won't get to vote because it's only the members who were at the moment of that meeting starting.
Yeah, I'm glad you pointed that out. I was going to bring that up as well, that after you hear this conversation, it's not, oh, let me go be a paid member and I can be a part of this vote. No, unfortunately, this is for a group of folks who have already been paid members prior to the convention. So anything past that date does not give you the option to do that. So,
and just to clarify, if you can't listen to the episode, you have any questions, board@athomedad.org. That's the place to reach us. You can reach out to any one of us. Our profiles and emails are on our webpage, but just ask the board whatever you want to know. If there are any questions that we don't cover today, just feel free.
Yeah, definitely.
That's what we're there for.
Let's kind of get into this a little bit. So we're going to jump in the Wayback Machine and set the date for Home Dad Con San Antonio a little bit. So like every year, there's always a election that takes place. And we had nominees, and we've just within the past few years really gone to a fully electronic voting system for board members, which I think is great. And I think that it does open up the opportunity for those who can't make it, who are members, to also vote, because that's part of their thing. But at the same time, too, it is electronic. It is technology. Like all technology, it has its flaws. Just like us, wonderful human beings, we all have our flaws, and tech is no different. And so that's what happened in this situation. I do understand that part of it, that basically the email went out, but it did not get out to everyone. And that's a big problem in the fashion of bylaws for the election, because you have to have a specific percentage of voting members for it to be an actual voted thing, correct?
Right. And let me clarify one thing, because this is where it gets kind of sticky. And this is why we've spent so much time. Here we are months later that we're bringing this up, but we had to be sure. And it was really difficult to be sure. We cannot prove that the email did not go out. We cannot, we basically have people saying they didn't receive it, and it looks like it didn't go out. We can't prove it did go out either. There's more evidence on the side that it didn't. We all believe that it didn't, but we'd love to be able to prove that it did somehow. And we have people like, no, I know this went out. And the end of it all is that we have received notification, because we went out and sent separate emails to other people. Had one person report that they did not receive the email ballot. And that was like, oh, okay, so this is the problem. And we had a record at the time of an email bounce that unfortunately we cannot find. So we don't know where that went. It might have been deleted. Those things happen. And the system itself is set up to do this for us. But we have been setting up our own systems in a lot of ways. And what we see happening and happened was that the process just failed at some point. And we have at least 10 people that we know that were non-attending members who did not receive their ballot.
And how many members do we paid members do we have in the organization? Because I think knowing
about
that
160.
Number, 160. Okay,
yeah,
so you have 10 that didn't get it. That's a good size percentage. I'm not a math elite, but
right. Right.
I
And if
do
it
know that
was
that's
one person, I think we could probably say, yeah. If it was two, I will say the second person that came to us and said, I don't think I got it either, that immediately, that was red flags everywhere. Because
yeah, that
one
triggers something.
is a bounce. You know, if I sent you an email and it's Mailer Demon who does it, is the automatic response, and the Mailer Demon had returned it and said this didn't go. Oh, okay. That's something that more than likely means I don't have your email correct, or something happened between my sending it and you receiving it. The server was down, or your whatever reason. There's so many reasons an email could bounce. Well, there's only two or three, but still there's enough to where one wasn't a concern. Two, I will say at two, our current secretary, Nick Hargis, that was a red flag for him.
Sure.
And he pointed it out to me and to our president, Chris Griffin, and said, look, this is something that I'm not positive what happened here. And we believed what happened was that it was just a couple, it was just a bounce. And then it was two bounces. Okay. But then Nick went through the effort and put in the effort and went through the work of, okay, exactly where did it go? How did it happen? What's the trail? We found it in the draft folders and we could see where it was all ready to go out and then what happened where. And we really want to focus on in this that this is a process issue. This is just we had a process in place that we trusted and that we should have been triple checking, I guess. And we fixed that already. And secondarily, we're going to actually pay for an app to do it for us. So
Okay.
there's no issues, there's no duplications, there's nothing. Everybody gets the email and we all see it. And so everybody gets a chance to vote.
That's good. No, definitely. That's helpful to hear. I was curious too. So, okay, so we've got a new vote taking place, but at the same time, just recently, we all saw that there was a post that gave hey, these are our new elected executive board folks, and some of those people that are in that are newly elected, right? Is that
To the
correct?
executives, yes.
For the
But
executives, yeah.
not as directors. They've been directors for at least a year and 2 years.
Okay, so that doesn't affect that then, basically,
No,
is what I'm
it
saying.
won't
is, so
affect
that's
and I will say, so everyone understands, until this vote is counted in place, everyone on the board stays where they are. They keep doing exactly what they're doing. They keep the responsibilities they've been given. We have Joshua Burnson is a good example. He's always done a ton of work for us, and now he's our head of marketing. He's our team lead for marketing, right? And
right.
marketing is more like a huge umbrella over a lot of stuff. But even if he wasn't on the board, he would keep those responsibilities.
Sure. But I mean, as far as what I'm saying is like, because the executive board is voted on by the active
Directors,
board.
yep.
And
Yep,
so
okay.
what I'm getting at is, would there also then be, after this specific vote, which is public for the members, would there then be would you go back and have to do a new vote?
Yeah.
If I guess it would only, I guess, matter in the case of if somebody who's not currently on the board gets voted on, changing that up, would
Right.
there then have to be a whole new vote for the executive board? Could
Right.
to
Maybe.
like okay.
The answer is maybe. So and we'll just go because the people that I think everybody knows who our nominees know who our nominees are. So At the time, we have currently Kieran Ocampo, Joshua Burnson, and Josh Mosley, who are all on the board, who were elected in San Antonio. Our other nominee is Dale Van Valera. If it happened that one of those three got fewer votes this time than Dale, and Dale gets onto the board as a director, then we do a new executive vote.
Okay.
Because his voice has never been heard, and we're not going to put one person on the spot. Okay, are you cool with this? We do have the option. If everyone remains the same, more than likely what we'll do is we'll go into a special session and make a motion to keep the executive officers as they are. And that's going to be for the whole board to decide. I think even if we have a quorum, we're fine. But I think even if one or two people said they weren't sure, we would definitely have a long discussion about, should we just do a revote for that? We don't want to, because the people that are in those positions are already doing the work. They hit the ground running. They're doing a lot of stuff. And honestly, secretary is a huge responsibility for so many moving parts of the organization. I just don't want to see the work this person's done, that Nick's done, and pulled out and put somebody else in their place. I'm sure they do a great job. My opinion, though, is we've already dealt with this, and this is the executive board who's dealt with two major issues
Right.
since San Antonio. And I personally would like them to stay where they are. I'm not saying that I voted for them. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that we have a team already working together, and I want them to stay that way.
Sure.
But
sure.
if we have Dale gets on the board instead, or honestly, if the three directors who are already elected decide, we want to redo a whole revote because everything needs to be revoted for whatever reason, they can bring that up, and it's a possibility.
Yeah.
But more than likely, this will all stay the same. More than likely, the people that voted for the three that were voted on in San Antonio will just vote again, and it won't change anything in that respect.
Right.
And then,
well, and that
executive board will
helps
change.
explain, and that helps to just sort of explain and give more clarification as to, okay, like, why is this happening? What's kind of going on? Like that,
Right.
that sort of side of things. Because, yeah, I mean, like, their bylaws are put in place for a reason. They need to
Right.
be upheld. And I
Yes.
think that, the board of directors over the years have really just, gotten better at understanding what those are, following them to a closer degree than in
Mhm.
past years. And I think that this is I feel like there's a bit of humility involved in this, because I mean, it is, hey, like, there was a screw up that took place.
Yeah.
You can't really
This
put
is-
a complete finger on a person or anything like that, other than the fact that it's technology. But at the same time too, like, we need to honor the fact that we have 10, able voting members who came to us and said, hey, like, I didn't get notification that that this was happening, type of deal.
Right.
And that, or even a link to be able to do it. So
And
I
really,
completely get that.
if it was more than one, again, that was a red flag. We started immediately, wait a minute. Because again, one person, even two is possible, especially when you're mailing out, 50 emails, two might
Sure.
bounce.
Yeah.
But yeah, at that, we started looking at it, and every vote, we want to make sure our members understand we value every single member that we have, and their vote is very important. Your board of directors are the leaders of this organization, and we want the membership, and this is why our bylaws are in place, to decide who leads them. Right.
Yeah.
And that's another reason too why when people talk about our organization, it doesn't really have a face. There's not really one person that everybody's, oh, that's the leader of the National At Home Dad Network, because it's member led, member driven, and the people that are on the board are there to represent the members.
Yeah.
And most importantly, and I've talked a lot, honestly, with Keith Nagel about this, and I actually talked with JHG, Jonathan Heisegrove, before that as president, about what we focus on is what's most important, what's best for the network.
Yeah.
What does the network need? And yeah, this is a lot of egg on our face, as they say. This easily is embarrassing for our board. It just is. This happened, and we were all like, oh my God, we don't have to do this, do we? Because we don't want to have another whole vote. We've never done this before. There are not specific bylaws yet for this situation about, redoing the vote and if it can virtual and all that. And we're writing those again, but it's never happened. So there's never been a bylaw for it. And that's kind of how, especially when nonprofits work, you don't have a rule until you realize you need a rule. And that's literally like in the handbook, that's going to happen. But
oh yeah.
Looking at it, I will say across the board, all puns intended, every single person said, yeah, we have to announce this. And two, we do have to have another vote.
Yeah.
We didn't want to have another vote, but just because of the logistics of it and the issues of, well, what if this person isn't reelected? What if they're like someone else? What do we do about the executives? This is one of our like third or fourth questions in. Well, hang on. What are we going to do? And again, pointing out, everyone stays exactly where they are until that vote is counted, and then we make changes as needed. So president is still the president. Chris is doing the work. He is the president right now, and we're going to keep it that way until, the membership tells us differently, basically.
Okay. So I noticed on here too, so the special meeting takes place November 19th. It says on here that the Zoom call window for that is open from 2 to 4 p.m. Now, is that, I don't see, you mentioned something about there being like an extended period of time for voting, and I don't see that on here.
That'll be announced at the meeting.
Okay.
Yeah, but see the Zoom call too, it's a 2-hour window. And the reason for that is we tried to pick a time when we felt most of our membership would be able to come to the meeting. It's virtual, just be able to chime in and listen to us and see what it says. Well, we give a 2-hour window because we're going to have board members on the Zoom call the whole time. And if you come in an hour later, we still want you to be able to talk to a board member and ask your questions or just get reiteration on how you vote or where your ballot is or what you need to do. Right.
Okay.
So it's a 2-hour window just because, even with the board of directors, we can't all be there at the exact same time. There's only 9 of us and there's
Right.
160 that we've got to handle or take care of.
But
Everyone will get that email ballot if they attend the meeting or not. It's just like our annual meeting at the convention. If you can't be there, you're a non-attending member, that's fine. You still get to vote. And it's giving us time for everybody to come back in and say, hey, why did we do this way? Or what are you guys doing with this? Whatever your question, these questions that you have, we want people to be able to come to a live meeting with your board of directors and say, Danny, what the hell did you do? Or whatever. And seriously about that in a way, because if you think we're doing something wrong or did something incorrectly, we want to be able to show you, okay, this is our entire framework that we came to this decision. This isn't why don't we just have another vote? This is absolutely a mechanical monster, logistical monster of work that we've done to get to this point. So we want everyone to know that we're here working for the network. We're here for what's best for them. And this in no way benefits us. In fact, it's embarrassing, but this is a place where we want our membership to understand that they lead us.
So
they
it's not
tell us what.
yeah. So this meeting is not something that like it's an open invitation, sort of like you can come and you can go. You're not expected to sit on this call for 2 hours.
Not at all.
It's if you don't have any questions, great. There's the link, vote, you're done with your process, that kind of thing. I think that's something too that I feel like there were people that were, what's going on? Is this like a meet, like we have to sit through a
Right.
2-hour meeting? Like
Right.
that sounds torturous,
It is, yes.
that kind of deal. But I get the idea of it. So that's good. I think that just having like basically like an open house type forum or whatever,
Mhm.
where it's like you can come in if you want to, and if you don't need to, and you get it. And hopefully maybe even this podcast episode will be something that helps with that as well. Not that don't want people to go to the meeting. Honestly, like I hadn't even really read it through that way when I had this idea to have this conversation, but I think that's
why
good.
we have the conversation. It's a good
Right, exactly. Well, and that's the thing. Like I was just like, well, this is kind of hot news, so let's get into it.
Yeah, this is definitely hot news. It's been it's been exhausting. Yeah, it's really, being on the board of directors is work. It just is. I know a lot of people are like, oh, I want to be on the board. I'm like, okay. And I have asked people they go up for nominations. I'm like, do you understand the commitment that this is going to be? And normally there aren't all of these, like we've had like 2 or 3 special meetings. We had a work session. We have just a ton of stuff that we've been doing, all the interpersonal messages and emails and everything going back and forth and all the screenshots and all the other garbage. And it's been a ton of work. And I want to say I'm not telling anyone who to vote for. I don't want to mean it like this. What I'm saying is I am very impressed that Joshua, and Kiernan all immediately said, yeah, we need to do a revote, with the understanding that might mean they're not on the board anymore. That's the sad truth of it. And every single one of them said, yeah, that's what the right thing to do is. And that's the best thing for the network. And, even, saying that again, vote who you want to vote for. I'm not trying to push you, but
Be careful how far you go into that.
Right, their maturity is remarkable. And I think it's what we expect of our membership, right? And so in that same vein, there's no other choice for the board. We have to do a revote, no matter what, no matter how much work it is, how much irritating it is, and how much. We had a meeting on Saturday night, man. I'm just going to say, Saturday nights, man, that's not my time. Okay, don't show up on my house on Saturday night. Don't come to my house.
That's my free time.
That's my free time. Right.
Yeah,
I had plans to absolutely do nothing. and yeah, but the point of it being is that it was a lot of work, and we've put a lot of effort into it, and we're satisfied at this point that we have found any issues, or the issue really, and we have corrected it. It will be completely in place. We're actually running our system through a couple of tests before we get to this election, and just to make sure,
Yeah.
because even though it's a bot, it's an app, it says it can do this. Yeah. What if this happens? What if that happens? How does it handle certain issues? So,
So the 19th is a Wednesday.
yes.
The link for voting, I take it, would go out that morning so that everybody's got it.
It'll go out by the time the meeting starts. The reason
Okay.
being is technically voting cannot start until the meeting is commenced.
Okay.
According to our bylaws, we have to have a meeting for this, and nobody has to attend it other than
Yeah.
certain members of the board, really. But we want everybody if they can. But
So
we're
you're
basically
saying
gonna,
2 p.m. Eastern, we should all have an email in our box
absolutely, yeah.
at that point.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And we're going to be sending out secondary emails in that. We're going to make sure everybody gets it, because if it runs like we think it would, it should be direct to you and it won't go get caught in your junk folder or spam folder. However, we are making, you need to make sure this is coming to you. Did you get this? And we're going to go through our individual emails to each person and say, look, we want to make sure you're voting. You don't have to. If you don't want to vote, you don't want to vote. Abstain, do whatever you want to do. But the understanding that everyone needs to have is we're going to push this and make sure that by the end, by 2:00 at the latest, everyone has had their ballot received, and our bot should check it. It should say if it was opened. We've had Zephy for a long time that does that same thing. And then we know you got this, you opened it, you didn't vote. That's not something we can, at that point, that's up to you. Right.
So there's 9 of you. You divide that by 100, or it's 160 divided by 9. So are you each gonna like text 18 people and be like, hey, did you get the email?
No, that's ridiculous. We have a secretary.
Oh, he gets all 160?
I don't have to do anything. We have a secretary for that. No.
Oh,
we,
Nick,
we,
so bad, dude. Nick, oh, you poor Nick. I feel so bad for Nick right now. I just need to give him a hug. That's awful.
Yeah, no, we will definitely be doing it. Now, I'm not going to tell you how the secretary is going to do it, because 2 of our board members, secretary being one, are finding that app that will work like we want it to. We're also, of course, looking for the cheapest one we can find,
right?
Because we are a nonprofit. But I will say too that the board members are willing, like this was, I think it's $30 about what we think it is. The board members, I've heard 2 different people, and I would say the same thing. I'll just pay it. I'll take it out of our discretionary funds at home, and I'll pay that just so we know this cannot happen again. And that is the most important thing. Is
it a one-time $30 payment, or is this a yearly thing?
I think it's one time. Yeah.
Okay.
But even if it's annual, we'll look at it, because of this being such an obvious mistake. This is a process problem. We thought we had this worked out, and we didn't. That is, and let me say too, I don't know that I've actually said this, but our board members, each and every one, and I will say this for myself too, we apologize that this happened. This was not obviously what we intended. We expected the system to continue working as it did in previous years, and that changed, and we failed that. And I'm not going to say it's any one person, but we didn't check it, double check it, triple check it. Well, we didn't triple check it, because we definitely double checked it. And the problem happened, and we apologize. We know this is a hassle. We, reached out to the membership in all the ways that we can to explain to them this is what needs to happen. And, we're making it a 2-hour window because maybe your kids drop off early, or you're going to pick up early, and so you go to one part of the meeting earlier or later, what have you, trying to make it as available for everybody as we can.
Yeah.
But first and foremost at this point is we apologize sincerely.
Yeah, I personally don't see how it could be conceived to be a purposeful, like it was a purposeful thing that took place.
No,
like,
God, not at all.
So that's the one thing. Like, I don't see how that could even be construed that way. But everybody has their own opinion as to what's up. Like, I would be very surprised to hear that somebody would be like, this was done specifically to cause this much disruption, because that it just doesn't. You know what I mean? But
who did this out there? If somebody did this somehow, and you made me have a meeting on Saturday night, we're gonna have a talk.
Okay? Who's that Russian bot? What's going on there? Yeah. That's what it is. It's a freaking Russian bot. Anyway, yeah. So I just wanted to bring that up and have that conversation because I felt, there was a lot of information that came
Very
in,
important.
and there were definitely people asking different things. And also, too, it is November 19th. I saw where there was a definite difference in the account, which, you know, typos happen. So I
Yes, it is
get it.
November 19th. And I will say, yes, I edited that. And so did two other people. And I am telling you, hands down, we all looked at it. We all looked at it. And at least four people looked at it before it went out. I'm like, yeah, it looks good. Looks good. We checked everything. And it went out. And immediately I went, son of a, oh my God.
You know what, though? I'll give you something that'll make you feel really good. So, a couple years ago, Corey actually put together this, I think it was a graphic actually that she was putting together for an event. And she had her entire leadership team look this thing over, and everybody gave it the green light. And then she sent it out, and within 5 minutes, someone messaged her and was like, "Did you notice this?" And it
Yeah.
was something really inappropriate.
Oh no. Oh no.
She's what? And then like she opens it up and looks at it, and she's, oh my gosh, like I can't
Right.
believe that like 12 of us looked at this thing
Yeah.
and nobody saw it.
Yeah. And it just, wait, I know I read this, but again, for me, and I don't know if it's the same with the other directors, but for me, I'm barely cognizant that it's October or it's November. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
There
there
it is
you are,
again.
right there.
That
There it
I
is.
am not even in October yet. I am still mentally catching up. I mean, it's only been 11 months and I can't keep track of this year at all. So yeah, yeah, I don't have any excuse other than
Yeah.
I mean, I did the Zoom link. I went to the calendar and did the Zoom link for November 19th, and I put it in the email and the description and everything. And I'm like, yes, this is right. Everything's right. Everything's great. And seriously,
Oh, I hate doing pre-scheduled stuff with tech a lot of times because you can set it and then click on something and then it'll move it to some other date and you're like, "Wait a minute, I didn't do that." I've had that happen. I can't not even count how many times that has happened to me where I'm like, "Oh yeah, I got to set this event up." And I click on it and the next thing you know, it like says it's like two months prior or some other crazy date and you're like, "How did you what? Like, how did who was holding the scroll button there? What was going on?"
right?
So,
Yeah,
yeah,
who did
I
this? It wasn't
totally
me.
I totally get it. So, but anyway, yeah, so thanks for answering all that stuff and going through it. I know it's not the most fun, but I really appreciate it. I
Yeah,
know that's a different thing
yeah.
but at the same time too though, I do enjoy putting you on the hot seat. That's that part.
I love ad libbing. I look. Oh wait, hang on. Don't talk about anything until I pull up
I
the
know.
email that we sent, so I can read. Wait, no. Oh yeah, it's the 19th. Okay, because I am not going by memory anymore. I don't trust my memory. I mean, I actually do, but I don't want to get put on the spot and just be like talking out of my
Yeah.
butt like I normally do and say something completely wrong. The network's too important.
No, definitely.
It's got to be accurate.
Well, so one thing I want to touch on before we call it a show and everything is that we've actually had our second planning committee meeting for Home Dad Con
Mm-hmm.
Chicago, the 30th anniversary. There's a lot of moving parts to it. This is the first year in a few years that I've actually gotten involved with being a part of the planning committee after everything that
Cool.
I had been doing previously. And so I'm excited about it. It's fun sitting in there and hearing, all the different details, things along those lines of what's taking place and that kind of deal. But yeah, I think it's going to be really special. And I think that, there's some very cool just speakers that are being approached. We're also open to folks, putting forth if there's something specific that they want to talk about as well. I think that, we're trying, it seems like the planning committee is definitely trying to make things as
Mm-hmm.
diverse and new as possible so that it's not a rinse and repeat of years past. And
Yeah.
I think that's something that I've heard different attendees say in past, man, like some of these talks sound similar than, to previous years. Can we get to
Mm-hmm.
something else, that kind of thing? And so I think that's really cool that's coming around. I my side of things too, just I'm kind of working on sort of like a yearbook type of thing, which is cool because I've got Al Watts working with me on it. Um,
Nice.
and so it's been kind of fun going back and forth, having conversations with him through text message and
Yeah. Yeah.
even just
For those who aren't aware, Al Watts is like the OG for the National Home Dad Network.
he's
One
kind
of
of the
many.
godfather of everything.
He is the giant, one of the giants upon whose shoulders we stand. Al
And
Watts
I'll
is an
say
amazing person.
he's also one of the OGs that stuck with the organization
Mhm.
throughout the years. So there
Yep.
are definitely other OG guys,
Mhm.
but they have not been as kept as involved.
Yeah,
So
your
that's
kids age out, and you
Yeah.
want to go back to work, and it's
Yeah.
difficult to maintain this relationship. So Al's put in the work.
But yeah, so he and I have been talking about different things, which has been cool. Because one of the things I was like, dude, I was like, I don't know that I've really ever seen the full list of 1 through 30 of where the conventions have been held at.
Mhm.
Like what? And so he sent me that whole list of things,
Nice.
and that was really cool.
Yeah.
I'm trying to compile like group photos from years that we don't have. He's apparently got logos and T-shirts from like all the other conventions and
Of
stuff. So
course.
just kind of bringing all of
course.
those things in together, I think is going to be really cool. So yeah, and it's fun because like I'm using Canva to build it all out as well.
Nice.
So that
Excellent.
way it doesn't have to be, it can be something that we can do, if we want to, like a tangible, physical yearbook, or it can
Yeah.
just be a digital copy that people can also get and look through. So, and the nice part about that too is that, that yearbook can also be put on the website once it's completed as well.
Yeah.
So that'll be cool. And
Do you have an autograph section?
I need one.
Go
I'm gonna
in, you
put.
get all your
I'm
autographs
definitely
of
gonna. I mean, it's a yearbook, so it's got to have blank pages for that
front
for
and back
sure.
for signing your
Yeah.
yearbook. Love it.
So, and that's the nice part too, is that that's really easy to actually to do with a tablet
Mhm.
and have people come up there and write. Be able to do that. So that's
I'm not going to
definitely
get a leather bound yearbook, man. Come on.
leather bound. I don't even have a leather bound one. I've got a hardback. I've got a
Hardback, whatever.
hardback
Sure.
copy, but I've never seen a leather bound one. Jeez, this isn't university, for crying out loud.
I don't know, man. 30 years. But yeah, that is a great idea. I love to hear that.
Yeah, so that's one of the things that's being put into play. So
Cool.
But yeah, man, like I said, thanks again for being willing to be put in the hot
Mhm.
seat, and
Yeah.
hopefully it helps alleviate just questions, and just makes the special meeting go that much smoother. And
And
yeah,
y'all reach out. You got questions, ask. That's again, board@homedad.org. You can message me directly if you want to. You can, however you want to do it. The podcast is, if that's your medium, just ask. We're not trying to hold anything back from anybody. We just don't know if you have a question, we don't know it if you don't ask it. So let us just ask us and let us help you.
Well said. Well, hey, until next week, we'll talk to you again then. Have a good one.
Good night, everybody.
I'm a dad, that's what I do.